baby from the childhood should become young, should become big and old, still should maintain good health. Focusing towards the good health of that old age, and then we give what is to be given when the baby is a child. Why you have to focus on that which is not seen? Do we say that? No. Keeping that in view, we start setting the goals and practices, and that's how all we are doing the same thing with our babies, with our children. Even with us, our parents also did the same. The thing is, at least the old age is seen, even though it's not with us, but at least we have seen with other people. We saw that with our grandma, we saw that with our grandfather, and we saw even their parents as well sometimes. But what is after the body is left by the inner life? That we didn't see. Because we did not see that, because we did not know something about that, we say that is not something to be focused upon. But it is not right. Though not seen the old age, but we are striving for that. Though not seen the other part of the life after leaving this body, but to do something for that as well, because that is permanent thing. What you got today in the name of this body is a very, very small thing. Is a very, very short-term goal of just one day in a classroom. The whole body life is one day in a classroom. And if you just simply spend that one day forgetting that tomorrow also you have to attend the class. A day after also you need to attend the class. And if you just do something, whatever just you wish, do you expect that it is a wise idea? No. So, one body, journey of the life, journey of probably the inner one whom we call as Atma or the soul, through one body is just like a day in a classroom. It is good. Whatever you do today in this classroom should make you feel happy, should make your friends feel happy, should make your teachers feel happy, so that you can enjoy tomorrow also in your classroom. And then you cross through that year, and then you go to a higher level, and ultimately you become a good citizen. You enjoy. This is even for the life. And then we have to start working. And whatever we do in a day of our classroom is what we call as Abhyudaya. But if you keep the whole life in the mind and then start acting, and that long term is called a Nisreyasa, the practice not disturbing that and not disturbing today, whatever practice that you do is called dharma of that student for that classroom. That is called what we call dharma. It is something like the Nisreyasa, what we call that Nisreyasa, is something invisible, isn't it? But that invisibility doesn't mean that it is not existing. We are not able to see that. That is all. We'll give you an example of a plant or a tree. For a tree, the roots are not seen. The trunk, the branches, the leaves, all they are seen. Do you think that whatever is seen is only important? Whatever is not seen is not important? Can we say that? No. In fact, whatever is not seen is more important than what is seen. And if we see the plant And if you see the root, if you see the branches, leaves, fruits and flowers, etc., and start working only with them, losing the roots, can we expect that the branches and the leaves, etc., will be there? No. So our focus should not be confined only to the visible form of the tree. Whatever is a visible form is definitely gives us a kind of enjoyment to our eyes. Yes. And don't confine there. Understand that there is a root. Nurturing must be done to the root. Enjoyment is with the branches and the leaves and the fruits and flowers, etc. We need to respond with the enjoyment of the leaves, etc. But we need to realize that there is something which is the cause of the plant, that is root. A root cause. Right? So, take care of the root first, but enjoy the plant. Both are important, my friends. So, we have to have a kind of better understanding to take care of, to guard the roots. In some countries where there is a lot of snow, roots will be under the ground. Tree will be over the ground. What happens there during the winter, after the fall, there won't be any kind of leaves left on the branches. And the tree appears to be dried in total, as if it is dead. But people there won't eliminate that. They won't cut it. They won't root it out. They preserve it as it is. It is totally covered with the snow. Ground is covered totally with the snow. But still they won't remove it. They keep it as it is. And again, when the spring starts, snow will be slowly melted, and then it starts blossoming, blooming with beautiful flowers and then leaves and so on and so forth. Why? When you saw that, when it appeared as if it is dead, and if a person removes that, that's it. But because they preserved it, the roots are there. Roots are not dead. Roots are pretty much alive. Roots are taken care. Because of those roots, again we can see the beautiful flower, we can see the leaves, we can see that wonderful, that blooming and a nice wind, everything just we can enjoy. Root. Because it is not seen, that you can't say that it is dead. That is more important. Your understanding is more important there. What we call as the realization. Basing on that realization, you need to respond. Respond for what? Respond to take care of the leaves and branches of a tree. If you just confine to only the leaves and branches and you forget about the root, you won't get those leaves again, you won't get the fruits again, you won't get the flowers again, and there is the end. We see this with a tree every year. During the fall, during the winter, during the spring, we can get this kind of experience. Same with the life. There is a root for this life. What we see the life as the body, the beautiful skin, beautiful organism, wonderful flow of the blood, in the veins and so much activity and beautiful enjoyment of the life. It is true. This is visible part of the tree. In a season, remember, in a season. But the root cause is something inside, what we call as the soul, what we call as Atma. That Atma is the one always takes one body, keeps changing the body. Just like a tree during the spring started with the flowers and then became beautiful, just a green canopy, beautiful umbrella, and then changing the colors, dropping the leaves, and again stood just simply like a stick. And again start growing. This is the life. This is one season, one body, one season. But the root is the soul. And the soul from here travels to some place which of course we don't know. But again it gets another body. And there starts again another season. As I said, a day in a classroom. And then the periods go on, and again the school is ended for the day. And again the boy or the girl attends next day. So also the soul, the Atma, travels through a body, goes through different kinds of experiences and leaves it for the day, for that life, and again goes to another body. One body to the other body, again from that to the other. In fact, this journey is called life. There are variety of definitions given to the word life, but the definition given by our gurus, great gurus, is life is a journey of the soul through a body. Because when the soul enters a body, then the journey started. And the journey goes on and on. When it leaves the body, then we say life is gone. Life started, there is a life, my life is nice, my life is enjoyable, my life is really painful, and so on and so forth. And one day, of course, the life gone. That means life means a journey of a soul through a body, whatever the body may be. Sometimes it may be a human body, sometimes it may be an animal body, sometimes some other kind of body. What kind of body and how during this journey, after leaving one body, the soul gets another body is a very big topic. But in this session today, we'd like to just give you a very brief and very short note of how the soul goes out of the body and then gets into another body. Life after life. Or in the words, life after death. The journey after death. Is it there? Is it really there? There are many stories about it. We experience that a few children, they become prodigious. The moment they're born, within few months or so, they start just saying something, doing something which they never taught. How they are able to do that? And we hear many stories about a few children. When they are in their third or fourth year, they start recollecting something, start talking something, that my village is that, and that is my mom, that's my dad, that is, my village, and they are my children, and so on and so forth. And people took such kind of children to those places, and they found that it is true that a person at that place died X time. And the person who was taken, the baby, and they say, hey, my little kid, and then, hey, my husband, hey, my wife. How come it is possible? There are many media people, when interview such kind of children, that what happened to you when you left the body here? How did you get this body? They said, they don't know. It is unknown area of the journey. We know a little part of this journey through this body, right? Even here also, of course, there are many gaps, like when we sleep. What do we know? What's happening around? When we sleep, we become like Kumbhakarna. But when we wake up, of course, we start understanding a few things. But even while we are waking up also, how many things that we know that are happening around. So there are many unknown areas even during this lifetime. But the journey of that soul after leaving one body and before getting the other body, how does it happen? How long it really takes, and all these things are really a mysterious things. Probably there are many people working on those things. Our Vedic scriptures spoke about those things pretty well. They gave beautiful detail about those things also. Knowing those facts, if we are able to set this life properly now, I think we will be able to enjoy this life, and also we can set that future also to get better experiences. Probably that is the better goal what is set to be obtained. A practice that caters the need like that is called dharma. In Srimad Bhagavata, the great sage Kapila explained a great deal about many facts, many realities, many truths about the life and about the life after the life, or the journey of the soul between the lives, between the bodies also, to his mother called Devahuti in the third skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. We were discussing a few things from that chapter. He explained to his mother about the time. He explained about the growth of a baby in the mother's womb. He explained several activities about several things to his mother. And one among them is about when mother asked him, what are the paths that the soul travels? Can you explain to me, my little Kapila? She asked. And of course, he gave a brief detail about that, saying that there are 3 paths. One path is called Yamyadi, Narakika path. That means when man forgets about his own responsibilities here, as how to grow and how to glow and how to reach the longer goal, but still just they do some good activities here. Sometimes they cause a lot of pain to others, as we see today. The leaders of many nations, not knowing what they are doing, they spread all kinds of pandemic things. Like what we see today, the coronavirus. They generate something that just, they throw it across the world and let people suffer, but let we flourish. There are things like that, and some people, not knowing about their future, they create a lot of ammunition and then indiscriminatively they start occupying the lands of other countries and then cause a lot of unrest among the people. Why do they do this? They do not know. They thought that this classroom time is only the end of everything. They really do not understand that tomorrow also that we have to attend the same class. We see people when they are in a room or when they are in a home, when they are in an office or when they are in some other part of the place, they eat something, throw something and then they simply leave. They forget that tomorrow they are going to come to the same place and they have to face the same situation there. They forget about keeping the things in an order. They forget about the responsibility of keeping the things in good condition always. In public places like the airports, where more public keep moving, when there are the wash basins, when there are toilets, and when there are common utilities like that, those people keep a small signboard that keep it in good condition for the next user. If our previous user spoiled it like that, then can we use it in a better way? No. And if we spoil it, how come the other person comes next to us will be able to use it in a proper way? When there are people like that using the things, I think our responsibility is to keep them in good condition. This is for the sake of the utilities, of our day-to-day consumption. But for the soul's journey, it is the same even with the body. It might have born in a country, in a color, in a race, in a religion, in a caste, creed or whatever it is. It doesn't mean that do whatever just you want and finish. No. You are a part of the whole. You should not forget that. One should not forget that. And whatever we see should cater the need of everybody around us. Everybody should feel happy with our activity. This is forgotten probably by many people, and then they cause a lot of unrest. They add so much disturbance to the world. We see the racism today among the people. We see the over-ambition among the countries. We see the people's indiscriminative occupation of the places of other countries. They are like, mad people with powerful weapons in their hands. What happens? The mad person, not knowing what he's doing, he may shoot other people, innocent people, or sometimes he may shoot himself also. This is what's happening today in the world scenario, my friends. So, it is always needed either by good or sometimes by force. Make people understand their roles and responsibilities, how they have to act, and what is the line of order which is to be followed. That's okay. So, mother asked Kapila to talk about those paths through which a soul travels. Because a soul takes many a birth, and this is only one birth among many. So, my son, I want to know how the soul travels. Because during this lifetime, we are understanding that what I am and what my duty is and how I have to behave with people around. But in behaving which way, I will be able to cut down the number of the births, or I will totally discard or probably break the chain of birth and death and birth and death cycle. We are caught up with a vicious cycle of this birth and death. The reason being ego, ignorance, or the nature of probably what we call the obsession with things that what we have today. So, how to overcome these things and how I can cut down this chain of births and deaths? Can you explain to me that what is the paths that the soul travels through? And at least if we know them, and probably we may be able to choose a better path. So she asked about these things to Kapila. And of course, the great sage Kapila gave beautiful explanation to his mother about those paths. And he said, when one becomes so much obsessive because of selfishness, because of arrogance, and because of ignorance, and thus one becomes dominant here, for sure such guys, they go to the Narakika path, a path traveling through which the soul reaches Naraka. Variety of Narakas he explained, and there of course he goes through different kinds of painful things, because that is how he led his life here. That's what he wanted to enjoy here. So he experiences the same things when he goes there to those Narakas. And that is called Narakika path. And the other one he said is called Dhumadi path. That means by traveling through which one will come back to this world by different body. He gets some kind of body after coming here, but what kind of body one gets, it depends upon many other factors. And there he explained how the soul travels. And this Dhumadi Marga is something that makes this life survive. The world to, go through so many things. But there is another path also, going through which is very difficult. But of course there are some people like you who chose that path and traveled through that, which is called Archiradi path. When one chooses that Archiradi path, he just simply attains the divine abode where there is just bliss, but nothing else. Bliss, a state of bliss, always bliss. And they will be there forever. So that is one path. When one practices dharma, as we said, dharma, when one really stands for the dharma, then he chooses, or he will be taken. Probably it's not by our choice, but probably we will be taken through that path called Archiradi, and then the soul will never return. But through the Dhumadi path, then he returns. And he said, Dakshinena patha aryamna pitrulokam jayanti te. They go to Pitrulokas, and then tataste kshina sukritaha punarlokamimam prati patanti vivasaha devaihi. Again they come back to this world, taking those same devas are the indriyas. The indriyas, the sensory organs of us are called devas. Beautiful name is given to them. Because the word deva is very tricky word. We think that deva means one who is with silk cloths and gold jewelry and big crown and always flying, etc., etc. Maybe we don't know such kind of souls are there, but deva is something that is not seen by our naked eyes, but always acts upon with so much power. That is what we call deva. Div means to shine. Div means to play. So acts of those devas are very tricky. They are unseen, but they always are very powerful. Can we say that? This is not our real sensory organ. This is only a gateway. This is only a doorway. This is the eyeball or the inner cornea or even the retina. Everything is only a gateway so that the sensory organ can work with. And there is a connectivity through the nervous to a part of a brain which really makes us to experience the form, the color, etc. Is that the sensory organ we call? Or is this the sensory organ we call? Not really. Because though that part exists, but at a point of time, even it doesn't work. Though there is this eyeball, sometimes it doesn't work. The sensory organ, what we call as eye, is something invisible to our devices that are available today. But it acts through all this mechanism to understand about the feature of the object and the shape of the object and the color of the object. And these are things, the shape, features and the color. These are three things perceived by the eye. So also with our nose, so also with our ears, what we call them as the indriyas. Chakshurindriya, Sravanendriya, Granendriya, Rasanendriya and Tvagindriya, that allows us to touch the things. So they are called devas. All the indriyas are called devas. So these devas, these indriyas bring the soul back to this world when it travels through the Dhumadi path. It goes to that place because while he is living here, acted in a better way, helping people, sharing good things with others, always giving peace to others, and always thinking good things. Because of those things, this soul travels through the Dhumadi Marga. And what are the things that soul experiences while traveling through? This is not much explained in Srimad Bhagavata by the sage Kapila to his mother, but there is a beautiful Upanishad which talked about those paths and the details to us. Let's go into that, just to understand about those things. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna said in 8th chapter that there are two paths. One is white path and the other one is black path. Though there are three paths described by sage Kapila in Bhagavatam, but Krishna brought them into two sections only, just for the convenience sake. Sukla Krishna Gati Yete Jagataha Saswati Mate Ekaya Yatyanavrittim Anyaya Avartate Punaha. He said, that is in the 8th chapter, there are two paths. Sukla Krishna Gati Yete. One is called Sukla Gati, another one is called Krishna Gati. And these are permanent paths. Ekaya Yatyana Vrittim. When gone through the one, never returns. That is called white path. This white path is what called as Archiradi. If one travels through that, need not come back. And how does he go? That is also Vartate Punaha. When one chooses the other path called black path, one returns. Avartate. Gone, but again comes back. But this comes back is there Krishna made one, because coming back is the common factor. But traveling, going through, there are two again sub-paths. One is called Dhumadi, other one is called Narakika path. But when goes through the Narakika path, then he goes through all sorts of pains and pains and pains. But when goes to Dhumadi Marga, then he comes back to this human plane, to this world, and then he experiences a mixed kind of experiences, like joys and pains as well. Because returning is the same common factor, Krishna said, bring them together, and said it is a black path, which brings you back and which keeps you again and again here and hooks you up to this. And I think you have to consider it as a black path. And the other one is called, white path. So here, Krishna said, while traveling, that one has to go through, first of all, when the body is completed, when the span is finished here, then he has to go through. The first one is called the fire. Some bodies, of course, are kept under the earth, like buried, whatever it is. But then the travel will be like through Chandra. The soul goes through certain stages to the Chandra. And again from Chandra, there are two paths divided. One path is called the Naraka path, going through which the soul experiences through so many things, so many pains. And going through the other one, it is called Dhumadi path, what we discussed now. And then it experiences different things. So of course, though the things are explained, and let's keep it aside and come back to the Upanishad, where the details are in a beautiful way described perfectly for our understanding purpose. There is a nice story behind it. There was a king called Pravahana who was ruling the Panchala kingdom. Panchala kingdom was a very famous one, probably nowadays which falls in Bihar. And the Pravahana was ruling the kingdom, very, very pious king and very generous king as well, and at the same time pretty knowledgeable. And he was in a great tradition also. He was following all the rules and regulations of the ancestors.
దశాబ్దపు అనుభవంతో కస్టమర్ల మరియు శ్రేయోభిలాషుల మన్ననలను నమ్మకాన్ని గెలుపొందిన సంస్థ విఆర్ఆర్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్. నాణ్యతకు నమ్మకానికి మారుపేరు విఆర్ఆర్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్. ఇండిపెండెంట్ హౌసెస్, అపార్ట్మెంట్స్, విల్లాస్ అన్ని రకాల హంగులతో అలరించే అద్భుతమైన వెంచర్స్ తో పాటు అందరికీ అందుబాటు ధరలో సొంత ఇంటి కలను సాకారం చేసే నమ్మకమైన సంస్థ విఆర్ఆర్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్. ప్లీజ్ విజిట్ విఆర్ఆర్ కన్స్ట్రక్షన్స్, Varatex Plaza near Radhika Theatre, ECL X Road, Hyderabad. Call to 9100885552, 9100885559.